Is Pi Network about to make you a millionaire, or is it just another illusion that so many people are chasing without realizing the risks? If you're a Pi pioneer and you've ever found yourself staring at your balance, refreshing the app 100 times a day, wondering if all of this tapping is actually worth anything, then you're definitely not alone. I know the feeling because I've been right there too. That sense of hope mixed with frustration, excitement mixed with doubt, waiting for some kind of breakthrough announcement. The truth is, Pi Network has created one of the most fascinating movements in the crypto world, but it's also wrapped in a lot of hype, misinformation, and sometimes outright scams. And the part that has caught the most attention is the so-called global consensus value of $314,159 per Pi. For many people, this number represents a dream of instant wealth, but for others, it raises red flags about whether this is realistic at all. So let's slow down for a moment and really break this down. Because when we separate fact from fiction, we can see both the genuine potential of Pi and the hard realities that can't be ignored. First, let's talk about the concept of the Global Consensus Value, or GCV. The idea behind it is simple but bold. Instead of waiting for exchanges to list Pi and let supply and demand set the price, this community-led movement says, what if we agree among ourselves that one Pi is worth $314,159? And if enough of us stick to that belief, the outside world will eventually have to accept it too. On the surface, it almost sounds like magic. It's like saying, money is only valuable because we all agree it is, so why not set our own price? And there's something powerful about that, right? It's rebellious, even beautiful in a way. It's everyday people saying, we're tired of Wall Street and big institutions deciding the rules of the game. Let's build value on our own terms. And if you think about it, all money at its core really is belief. Dollars, euros, yen, they only work because people collectively trust them. So in theory, why couldn't Pi do the same? But here's where we have to be brutally honest. Wanting something to be true and proving it in the real economy are two very different things. Declaring Pi is worth six figures doesn't make it so, just like declaring a lottery ticket is worth millions doesn't mean the jackpot is already in your pocket. Supporters of the GCV idea usually point to four main arguments. 1. Pi has a massive user base, over 55 million pioneers. 2. There are real apps and decentralized platforms being built where Pi is the native currency. 3. The mining rate is decreasing, which introduces scarcity over time. And 4. The philosophy that the people building and using the network should decide its value rather than outside traders. Now, those are strong points, and they do show why Pi is different from so many failed crypto projects. But let's also challenge them honestly. Yes, 55 million people signed up, but how many are truly active and committed versus just tapping the app once a day? Yes, apps are being built, but is the ecosystem growing at the speed necessary to support sky-high valuations? Scarcity does matter, but scarcity alone doesn't guarantee high value. There needs to be actual demand too. And while the philosophy is inspiring, the harsh reality of markets is that external buyers, merchants, traders, investors won't just accept a price because a community declares it. They need to see proof that people are willing to spend and trade at that level. Now let's inject a dose of reality with some math. If even 1 billion Pi coins are circulating, and each Pi is valued at $314,159, that would mean a total market cap of over $314 trillion. To put that in perspective, the entire world economy produces about $100 trillion annually. So this would make Pi worth more than 3 times the value of all goods and services on Earth combined. That's not just unlikely, it's impossible. No economy, no matter how united, can sustain that without collapsing under its own weight. And even if Pi magically reached those numbers for a brief moment, millions of people would immediately rush to sell. Think about it, if your Pi balance suddenly made you a millionaire, wouldn't you cash out at least some of it to pay bills, buy a house, or secure your family's future? The flood of sellers would instantly crash the price back down. Merchants would also struggle. Imagine accepting Pi at those inflated values, then trying to pay suppliers and rent in traditional currency. It simply doesn't hold up. This is why history matters. Look at Bitcoin. It started at 0 in 2009.
Its value wasn't declared, it was earned slowly through proof of work, adoption, and surviving countless crashes.
Over a decade later, it reached tens of thousands of dollars per coin, but only after years of market validation. On the other hand, thousands of ICOs and tokens that promised massive returns collapsed into nothing because they skipped this step of proving value in the real world. So what does this mean for Pi? Does that make it worthless? Not at all. In fact, Pi has real potential. The technology is there, the team is credible, and the community is massive. But its value will come from adoption, ecosystem growth, and open market demand, not from arbitrary six-figure declarations. That's why it's more realistic to think in terms of a few cents to a few dollars per Pi, at least in the beginning. And you know what? Even that can be meaningful. If you hold 1,000 Pi and it reaches just $1, that's $1,000 essentially earned from a free app. If it goes to $5, that's $5,000. It's not millionaire money, but it's still real and valuable. So here's the mindset shift I think every pioneer needs. Treat Pi like a lottery ticket, not a retirement plan. Don't quit your job, don't spend money you can't afford to lose, and don't make major life decisions based on assumptions of Pi wealth. Keep mining, stay engaged, but be smart and realistic. If Pi succeeds, you'll benefit. If it fails or stays small, you won't be devastated. Personally, I'm still tapping every day. Why? Because it only takes 30 seconds, and the upside is worth it. But I'm not staking my financial future on Pi hitting impossible valuations. If it ever reaches $1 to $10, I'll be thrilled. If it goes higher, I'll be surprised. And if it stays near zero, I'll move on knowing I didn't risk anything important. At the end of the day, Pi Network is one of the boldest social and economic experiments of our time. It might not make us millionaires, but it could still carve out a place in the crypto world with real, practical value. Just remember, hope for the best, prepare for the realistic, and protect yourself along the way. If this helped give you some clarity, drop a comment and let me know what price you honestly think Pi might reach and why. Don't forget to subscribe for more honest, no-nonsense coverage. And as always, stay safe out there, pioneers.